This isn't really the order that I want to do this in, but I'm going to assume that you're from the future and the YouTube algorithm gods have brought you here. So if you came here to see me unbox, set up, and review this Nelko thermal label printer, I'm going to put a timestamp on the screen right here and down below that you can skip right to that point to see me do that. But if you're like me and you love a good backstory and you want to see the setup or hear the setup as to how I came to acquire this, this is the part for you. So let's go back in time. About a year ago, I decided that I was going to get rid of all of my unused items that were no longer serving me or providing me value. That includes camera equipment, computer stuff, video games, toys, all the things that were taking up my storage room of doom as it's known, and I just wanted to be done with it. But I knew this stuff, even though it didn't have value to me, it did have value to others out there. Maybe not in our area, but in general. So I decided that I would list it on eBay, and I did that, and when you know, those things started to sell very consistently. And at the time, people in my community, as I was talking about my selling, they were like, Greg, you should totally get a label printer. And at the time, I was like, well, when I'm done with all of my stuff that's in my storage room, I'm probably not really going to sell anymore. But little did I know that in 2024, I would get really into reselling, and that would become a big part of my life and a new hobby for me. So I went from selling my own stuff to selling things that I was finding and reselling and just having a whole blast with it. And at this entire time, prior to this moment when I got this, I've been printing out my labels on a regular printer, and I've been cutting them out and then taping them to the boxes. And I've been doing this over and over and over again. And the reason that I was doing it was because I didn't want to spend the money on one of these. I was like, that's such an investment. But it wasn't until I actually made a video talking about how I do it and showing the process and actually timing myself to see that it took me almost 30 minutes to package up 5 items, and probably about half that time was just in the label process, that I decided right after that video went out that I was going to buy a label printer. And the one that I was looking at initially was like $200. It was a Rollo. But this one, this Nelko, this is a PL70e-BT, which stands for Bluetooth. This one was highly rated. It was $90 with a $15 coupon, so I got it for 75 bucks. And supposedly, this works really well, not only with eBay, but with your Android or iOS device. And that's how I do everything on eBay. I use my iPhone and I click everything on there. And my dream is that this is just going to magically print me a label. I'm going to slap that on the box and be done with it. And if that is the case, I think this is going to be totally worth it. But that's what this video is to determine. And this is where the rest of the peeps that skipped my story time, how dare you? This is where we all come back together and we try this thing out for the first time with an item that I have to sell. Welcome back, you skippers. I totally wasn't bad-mouthing you in that last shot there, but here is the unboxing of this baby. And I'm hoping this is a very simple process. They give you some shipping labels with this to start you out. And I think that's maybe where the catch is with this, is they're like, oh, here you go. Here's a label printer for 75 bucks. And then they're like, oh, you need labels now. Well, hopefully I actually do want to sell a lot of stuff, so I make this worth it, but I'm gonna have to end up buying labels eventually. Here's what this looks like coming out of here. And it was probably supposed to be more impressive than that. There's the cable. I'm assuming these are my labels inside here. There's a box. Actually, no. This is more cable. I should be clear that I'm a vlogger, not necessarily a product reviewer, but you know what? This is gonna be an authentic review of this from the perspective of somebody that's just getting into this, and if I can do it, you can do it. So let's see what we got inside here. We'll go with this shot here so you can see my printer in the background over there looking all sad because it's about to be decommissioned, at least in the world of printing labels, and that's pretty much all I use it for, to be honest. First thing we find in here is instructions on how to install the Shipping Printer Pro app on iOS or Android, which will be important for printing our items. Then we have our labels. I think they give you 50 of them to start out. We've got the manual, could be handy. And then we have Nelko quick tips. Last but not least, there is a Nelko USB drive in here, and then a adapter going from USB-C to USB-A. I don't know if I'll need those or not, or if they're just bonuses that they threw in, but I thought that was nice. The setup of this looks super easy, as does actually printing using Bluetooth on your phone. I'm mainly concerned as how this is going to work with the eBay app, because that's everywhere that I print. So let's get it all set up here and see if it does what I hope it'll do. Just when you thought this review couldn't get any more unprofessional, he's on the floor now. plugging this into the wall over here because the table's too far away from an outlet. Yeah, that's happening. I'm doing my best, okay? There it is, plugged in. Moment of truth. We flip the switch. Whoa! Okay. Loading paper. Looks like it just kind of sits behind the machine. It's beeping at me. Aha! There's one thing in here. There's a self-test. It doesn't really say how to insert the paper, but it says it'll automatically take it through. It did. You do have to keep these labels like just kind of sitting here because they're gonna feed their way through. But I'm gonna download the app now and we'll see if that's all it takes to get this to work. That would be crazy. I'm in the App Store and that's the app right there that I'm getting. The app has 30 ratings and a 2.6 out of 5. So that's kind of unsettling. I find that with most things on the internet, people tend to only speak out when they're very angry or very happy, typically when they're very angry. So that's probably what the case is. So we're gonna allow this to use Bluetooth, and I'm gonna agree to the privacy policy. This is probably where they track everything that I do on my phone and everywhere that I go. So that's great, yes, sign me up for that. It says that it's not connected. So let's see if we can connect this. Click on not connected and add the printer. And we'll connect. And it's connected. Okay. We'll go get my item together and we'll try this for the first time here right now. I've been talking about the storage room of doom. Now you get a chance to finally see it. I have to warn you though, it can get a little crazy in here. So on that, welcome everyone to the storage room of doom. This is where all of my disorganization takes place and where I store all of my Lego and all of my video games and toys from my childhood, electronics, boxes, empty Lego boxes. It's all in here, as are all these fuel bottles that I bought. And this is what I sold today. I got one of these going and we'll try this out and ship it the new way, hopefully saving me minutes of time. If you are curious what I sell on eBay, pretty much everything and anything. I go to yard sales, garage sales. I find a lot of stuff there. And I do this thing called bins where they sell like Amazon returns and various things that didn't sell elsewhere. Cheaper and cheaper every day that it goes by. And I have a lot of success there. And that's where these came from. I bought all of these for $5 each and I sell them for $28 each. So it's a good business to be in. And being that I still have like 20 some of these left, I could use some labels. Here's my fuel bottle, and I ship them in these boxes here. Kind of just go in there sideways like that. I'm gonna tape the top and bottom though. Not that you care, this isn't what this is about. I feel like I need to put another timestamp to skip if you're just looking at the label printer. Maybe I should have made a more condensed version of this, but I'm a vlogger at heart, so I share my experience. And that's what you're in for now. No more skipping for you. Let's get a weight here, and get ready for a label. I'm gonna purchase the label. I'm gonna click print label. This is the important part. I'm gonna click printer, and see if it finds my label printer as it looks. No! I think I figured out how to do it. Usually when I ship on eBay, I just click printer and then my regular printer will show up there. In this case, you click the share button up here. Trying to do this in a camera, not easy to do. Let me just spin it around, take my word for it. This is what pops up from there and I can click on my printer that I was trying to print from. I have to be very careful with this because I don't want to show this person's address. I'm sure they would not appreciate it. So I'm going to click the print button here and it says rendering and it says success. I can't show this to you, but as you can probably tell, it made it very small. It only takes up half of that. So I gotta change the settings on this. According to the manual, I can set this on 4x6 and it should hopefully work. Right now it's on custom. Here's the menu if you can see it. So I'm gonna switch that to 4x6 and hopefully that should fill the whole page at the top. And again, I can't show this to you because it actually has someone's address on it. It's only taking up the top half of the virtual page that's on here. Hopefully that half page equates to a label, and I'll try to keep this kind of wide so the address maybe doesn't show, and I'm not gonna reveal anything. We'll click the print button again. Worst case scenario is, oh, I did it again. If you're keeping track, I'm now down 2 labels. They have an address on them and it's technically a label. I just need to get it to be the right size. So I may turn to the thing that you're turning to, the internet, to find out exactly how I do that, because I'm sure I'm not the only person running into this. The Reddit gods may have saved us. This person has some directions here on how to solve this problem that apparently a lot of people are having. Label 3 coming out. No! I'll be right back. I'm gonna tell you how to fix this. That may be why you're here. What brought us together? Let me figure this out. I can't show this to you very well because of the address. It's ruining my entire life here. But I clicked that scissor icon over there where my pinky is, and that seemed to have made the image the entire size of the paper. Let's try to do 4th time's a charm and see what happens here. Yes! Yes! That's it. I'll just hide their address here. You can see mine. It's just my post office box, which is public. This is what it looks like printed out on here. I think I could go a little bit bigger, actually, because there is some space over on this side and then at the bottom, but that's probably good enough to print. Greg from the future here interrupting your video because I just found the secret to printing the perfect label. So the secret is you make sure that's on center, single page, tag paper, all of this stays exactly the same. I even just left that on custom, but what you have to do is you click the rotate and then you click the scissor button and then you click the print button. Again, I can't show this to you. It's a predicament to be in because I want to show you the label, but it turns out really nice when you do that. And it's as easy as that. Now for the moment of truth. Peel off the backing and just stick that onto my package. Oh my gosh. Why have I been doing it the old way for so darn long? That was so easy. Once I figured out the formatting, wow, that's all it took. And again, I can't show it to you, but that's all it took was just to put that on there like that and it's good to go. So time savings, and that's the one thing I wasn't calculating when I was figuring this out. I did the math and I was like, I'm gonna have to sell like 1,000 items for this thing to pay itself off. But I wasn't accounting for all the time and effort that I was putting into printing them the other way. I only accounted for like the ink and the paper, but then you have the tape and you have the time. And I think eventually, like if you're serious about reselling or just selling in general on eBay, I think something like this is gonna pay itself off in a very little time. Like right now, I'm just excited about this because next time someone buys something, all I have to do is just do what I did in this video, only the more efficient part of it where it's just like instant and I have a label and it's ready and I love it. I know I probably did like an awful job of selling this. Not that that's what I was trying to do. I was just trying to show you what this is like. My first time using it and setting it up. I'm sure someone has done a proper tutorial on this, but this is what you can expect if you get this and you're a noob. And I think I've shown today that it doesn't take much to get this going. Literally plug it in, put your paper in, and then you download the app, go into eBay if that's where you're selling at, or your files, or wherever it happens on Android. And then all you have to do is just click the little scissor icon and make sure it's the size of your labels, which again, they give you 50 of them for free. I have them all here. They're coming out everywhere. And you can start printing your labels just like that. I'll do a long-term review of this in the future once I print out a bunch of labels from it. But speaking of labels, the only other thing that you're gonna have to buy with this after you buy the unit itself, which again, I got for $75. It's the PL70e-BT, is labels. And the labels for 500 of them are only $20. So that should last you quite a while. I think you're gonna be okay with this and you're gonna save all that time, which was my big thing. If you're gonna do this, you might as well invest in yourself, and that's what I felt like I did today. Treat yourself, as they say. And if you want one of these, if somehow you decided through watching this that you want this, the Amazon link is down below. It'll help me buy some labels when I need them. So on that, I hope you enjoyed coming along with me. If you skipped my story, I'm gonna accept your apology now in the comments. Hope you have a glorious rest of your day and enjoy your new label printer.